Football in Focus from the Teed Up Indoors on Battleground Avenue. We got Kordell Bartley with us from Dudley. Big win last Saturday against Northeast. What did you like about that game last Saturday, Kordell?
The biggest thing was the plan that we executed and being able to come out hard and execute the plan. I think the biggest thing for us that week was to get reps and continue our momentum going into the playoffs.
What about the Saturday afternoon game versus the Friday night game? Did you like playing on Saturday?
Saturdays is different. Like I said in the video a few days ago, it brings back a lot of childhood memories, and especially playing with boys that you grew up with. It makes you feel like a kid again. So it's very different than playing under the lights and bright Saturday. And also, sometimes it may get you ready. My dream about the Saturday afternoon game is I'm dreaming this. If I'm Dudley, I want to play at 12 noon in Chapel Hill on Saturday in the championship game. Right. And I've got some practice playing there like you did the other day. Right. The dream is always to get that championship game. Really says, we're going to take this thing one game at a time now, guys. Focus on the next team up. I think you got next Rockingham County, right? Right. But you also want in the back of your head, like, man, I want to get to Chapel Hill or Raleigh and play. I want to play at noon myself, because we can get that game done in the afternoon. Some people play at night, but I don't like playing the last game. I don't like playing the last game. I want to play that first game that day. We win the championship, we come home and celebrate all afternoon and all the next day, all the next week. Celebration time. That's true.
Got to beat teams like the South Point to get there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I think this year, going into the playoffs, we got a plan. We know what the end goal is, and as Coach Davis said, we're trying to get to that fish fry.
Oh yeah. We're
trying to get to that fish fry, and everybody is driven into the same plan. Everybody's on the same page.
Crazy thing is, looked at South Point this week. You may not even see them this year. They're like 4-3 right now. They've had kind of a tough run of it down that way. But teams like Kings Mountain, they're unbeaten. Crest out of Bowling Springs, they're unbeaten. Some teams that kind of think about down the road possibly. But this week, Rockingham County. I know they got a good quarterback. It's Bryce Baker, I think. Not sure what number he wears in his uniform, but I know we got to have that number in mind come tomorrow night. But what about Rockingham County this week? What are you seeing? What are you thinking about these guys?
This week for us is we don't underestimate anybody. We always go in with a hard plan. We've been focused all week, and the biggest thing for us is to drive out the goal. So with Rockingham, keep the same thing as every week. Be consistent, play for each other, play for our brand, and do what we do.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point, playing for the brand. The brand is Dudley Panther football. And like Coach Best says, I mentioned this to Mr. Wilson here a couple weeks ago, talking to Wilson about this. We're in the house, we're in the Panthers' house. You guys even said, if I'm not mistaken, when you go on the road, you also do that same thing.
Yes, sir.
It's always, you claim the place when you walk in the gate, you guys claim it.
Yes, sir.
And you have to.
Yes, sir.
It's all about dedication. Tell us what position you play. I want to say, I want to tell you what position I think you play. I think you are playing ATH, athlete. But what position do you play?
Well, originally, I play slot receiver and rover, safety.
Mm-hmm. And also kick return, man.
And punt return as well.
Ooh. What about the punt return last week? I mean, I think they called it back because of a penalty, didn't
they? Yes, sir. Blocking the back.
Yeah, what about that return? Talk about that. That had to be a lot, because the ball, like we talked in that post-game interview, the ball hits the ground, it's going around a little bit, and that always seems to get the defense a little bit off balance when they're coming down. You picked up, took off, and ran for the whole way. Talk about that return. It was fun to watch. I call it electrifying even.
On my end, in the view, is like, man, the wind is blowing. You never know where the ball is going to go. It could have go overhead, cut short. In that case, it cut short, and it bounced a little bit, picked it up about the 2-3 yard line, and followed blocks, read the field, and everybody fled to the left where I was, and I cut back right.
You guys spend a lot of time on the specialty teams and practice on returns. You guys spend a lot of time on that?
We spend a lot. We specialize on all sides of the ball. No matter what it is, we trying to perfect everything. We're trying to be a strong team, a confident team, and going to see every week. All phases of the game.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so, I mean, you're blocking. That's the key thing. Because some guys on return teams, I've seen teams, and I think I've even been on teams where a lot of guys, they didn't even follow through with their blocks. And they're just out there going through the motions. Let's let this guy run with it. He's running. Look at that guy go. You get the guys blocking, it makes a difference. And you can read those blocks.
Right.
With us, Kordell Bartley, I think one of the most fun players to watch play football in Guilford County right now. And where's number 5, right?
Yes.
Got that number 5 in mind. Watch that number 5 up and down that field. How many touchdowns have you had so far this year? Have you kept up with that?
This year I have 11.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
Yes.
And it's not all just receiving. It's
rushing and receiving.
Yeah, rushing, receiving, and the returns.
Returns as well.
Man, any interceptions, taking those back yet?
I have 3 interceptions, but no pick 6.
Wow, no pick 6 yet, but 3 interceptions already getting that done. It's unreal. It's going to be tough when the all-conference team comes out. They start to vote on that Saturday morning after the regular season game is over against Eastern Gilbert. They're voting on the all-conference that Saturday morning, the meeting of the coaches. You're going to get on there, but where are they going to put you at? That's going to be the question. You got to get on that team, no doubt about it. To win the conference championship this year, what does Dudley need to keep doing? You've talked about some already. Talk about that again. What do you need to keep doing?
For us to win the conference, we need to be confident, play for each other, and continue to get everybody in rotation in the games. And I believe Coach Davis is doing that. And as well as trusting me to be a leader of the team, we need to be a unity at all times. And that's the biggest thing for us to win the conference. You
got your stuff together, talking to you right now. Do you find yourself sometimes in games, even in practice, getting on your teammates' case a little bit, trying to stir these guys up and motivate and push them a little bit?
Definitely. We have a special day. We call it competition day. It's Wednesday at Dudley, and it's basically, man, you just go at it, 1v1s and offense versus defense. It's a lot of energy, but that's what we need going into the playoffs.
So some 1v1 going on there.
Yes, sir.
Wow,
yes,
that's good. And you guys are actually full contact then.
Yes, sir.
Some teams kind of lay off at full contact as the season goes on. Some teams it's better to keep hitting because you keep hitting, your body's going to be more prepared, I would think,
true,
as time goes on. Got to ask you this, kind of going back to earlier talking this interview with Kordell Bartley at Dudley High School. Who taught you how to play football back in the early days? How did you get going? Who got you started? Who taught you?
Believe it or not, I started on the O-line playing for rec ball.
Wow.
Then I kind of grew up with my brother. My brother taught me how to catch and throw a football. And then Pop stepped in, and Pop seen something that I couldn't see at that age, and he put me on the AAU team, and it was it from right there.
So you went toward the travel team pretty quick, and you guys were doing some travel. That's good. That's very good. And interesting, too, you were on the O-line. You switched to become like a receiver and more of a skill position player. Some guys actually, sometimes they'll start at the skill position, end up going toward the O-line. They go the opposite direction. But for you, I bet you're kind of glad in some ways now to see what all goes into this game of football. You're kind of glad you went the way you did.
Yeah, the trenches is for people that's built for the trenches.
Yeah, and you have the chance to get your hands on the ball. That makes a whole lot, too. Back when I was in high school, we practiced on Thursday. Easy practice, always light. You come out for about 34, just go through everything, review things. That day, the coach actually let the lineman touch the ball. You could throw it around a little bit. It's like this, during the week, you don't even get near the ball. Guys, why don't you touch a little bit on Thursday? It was kind of a fun day back in those days. And Thursday practices to me are always the best days of the week. Yeah. You knew what was going on. You went out in helmets and T-shirts and shorts and just reviewed everything, and you could actually catch a couple of footballs that day. Talk about the passes from Drew Atmore. What kind of passes he throws? Is he fast and hot, steady and smooth, quick and crisp? How does the ball come out of his hands and coming to you? How do you see that ball coming?
My quarterback is the phrase him. My quarterback is legit the real deal. The ball comes in any fashion. It can come hot, fast. It can come long. It can put it on the line. It can do everything that he's asked to do. And that's the best thing about him leading the offense into the conference, to week in and week out practices, and definitely going into the playoffs.
So he's got that kind of precision on the ball. If it needs to be hot and fast, he'll burn it in there like a fastball. Otherwise, he'll kind of slip it in there just the way you have to get it.
Yeah,
he sees it pretty well then.
Yes,
he must have time back there. The offensive guy, if you've got time to study that receiver, how the receiver is going to feel and what position he's into, got to give credit to the offensive line too.
That's true. I think our senior linemen, Bowie and Braxton, they're a key piece to that O-line, leading the team, being seniors, and definitely keeping the youngest into know what's right and what's wrong, and teaching them the right ways and teaching them what's wrong, and keeping the quarterback safe.
They're kind of like the daddies of that line, and they kind of bring those kids along. Talk about your moves. You got multiple moves. How did you come up with those moves, and how do you decide when to use certain moves and stuff like that?
More so reading the field. What's available to cut back, what's available to take what you can get, or what's available to put a foot in the ground and get what you can. More so just reading the field and taking what's available.
Did you have to practice that for a while to kind of perfect those moves? Take a little while to get them down?
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, without people seeing. You don't want to see people
That's true.
have to see what you're doing.
That's
you want
true.
to be kind of slip in there and make them have to read it as it happens.
Right.
And that foot in the ground, talk about that a little bit, how that actually works.
You see a defender coming, and you know you can trust your boys to block for you. So it's always an open gap somewhere. Somebody is always slacking on the other team. So putting a foot in the ground is just hitting it hard, hitting an open hole, and getting what you can.
So not putting the foot in the ground is not necessarily like going up, stopping, planting that foot, digging a hole, and then cut and moving in. It's just putting the foot in the ground and moving all the time.
Right. Keeping north to south.
Right. Yeah, I like north to south. East to west is good, and so I like north to south sometimes. East to west seems like it takes more time to develop.
It does, and hitting the sideline is fun as well.
Oh, yeah. If you hit that seam on that sideline, I was watching a middle school game. This is off the subject, real quickly with Kordell. Watching a middle school game yesterday, and the quarterback, had some good outside running room around that edge. He got that, but he get about 7-8 yards of film, all of a sudden, right out of bounds. My thing's always get up and get 3 or 4 more if you can.
Right.
Even at a young age, don't get in a habit of jumping out. I mean, you don't want to get hit and lose the quarterback, but still, 3 or 4 extra yards. I mean, give me some of those yards upfield.
That's right.
Be
physical. Be physical.
Be physical. Yeah, lower the shoulder and see what you can do with it.
Right.
Get used to taking a hit, because you're going to get a lot of them as you go on. Be used to taking a hit as that goes on. Kordell Bartley with us out of Dudley High School. So far this season, Dudley's 7-0. Again, you talk about Rockingham County, what you guys need to do tomorrow night to get that win to go 8-0.
Right.
Do you see Eastern Guilford looming in the vision down the road? Do you see them being the conference championship game? You can't look too far ahead, but looks like they're getting close to being that down the road.
I mean, with Eastern or any team in general, I really focus on my team and taking it week by week.
Right.
That's my motive with what I got going on with my head coach. You know, just focus on what's in front of us first, and then when that time comes, take care of business.
Take care of Dudley first, and the rest will fall into place.
Yes, sir.
Who's your position coach?
Coach Best.
You got I said it again when Mr. Wilson was here, Latrell Wilson was here. I said, you guys have got the best coach in Guilford County, because he is Coach Best. And I tell you, D. Best, Denoris Best, he played for Dudley, hard-working player, not the superstar, but man, that guy studied the game, learned the game, and knows the game, and lives the game. And he's also a very good teacher. I think he teaches at Ferndale over in High Point, or used to.
Yes,
he may be the AD there now, too.
Yes,
But this guy does a good job, man. Coach Best is dedicated to the kids, and I mean, he works you guys hard and teaches you guys well.
Right. I mean, he's dedicated from the time today to the time I stepped foot on Dudley. Like, he took me under his wing along with Coach Hall, our offensive coordinator. And they seen something in me that I couldn't. I was more so of coming to Dudley to play defense, play safety.
Wow.
So during the summer workout, they seen some speed, and it was on from there.
Do you play any other sports?
Track.
Do track. Oh, yeah. Well, you got to be doing track. And Dudley's got that little Ezra Brown guy can fly when he's in track.
Yes,
yeah,
he can.
That guy can flat out move. So what do you run in track? I know you're probably on a couple relay teams and stuff like that too.
Primarily, I do the 400. That's my favorite race.
Mm-hmm.
I do the 200 here and there to kind of keep condition, and definitely the 4x4 and the 4x2.
So the 400, can you get it down around maybe 49 seconds?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Get under 50 seconds in the 400, you're doing good, I think.
Yeah.
Moving on down the street pretty quick. With us, Kordell Bartley, quickly on some college football for this weekend. Who wins on Saturday, Duke or NC State?
Duke is very strong right now. I've seen a lot of good things from them defensively and offensively. Their quarterback is leading the team the way he should, so I'm going with Duke. You
got a former Dudley player on the Duke team, Makai Wallace, sitting in there somewhere. Got to keep up with Makai.
Yes, sir.
North Carolina and Miami. Who you like in that one?
Miami is a different team this year.
Yeah.
I know they took a tough loss last week, but I'm going with my home team. I'm going with UNC.
Going Drake May and the Tar Heels.
Yes, I am.
Get the job done. And always got to remember Travis Shaw, former Grimsley Whirly, big Travis, right there too, getting it done for the Tar Heels. Panthers, how many wins for the Panthers this season? They've got none right now. How many wins for those guys?
No, I'm not a Panthers fan, so I get them 4.
4 wins. He might be on the money, unfortunately. Coach Stephen Davis, what makes him the best coach around?
It's consistency. I think what he's been doing since he's been there, he's been producing, he's been coaching, he's been like a father figure for kids, and that's the biggest thing. I take pride of being under his wing. It's a difference in a lot of different areas that some people just can't understand. I think that was what brought me to Dudley, and seeing him coach my older brother, that's something I love.
What's your older brother's name?
Michael Wyman.
Michael?
Michael Wyman.
How do you spell his last name?
W.
That's the kid who went to South Carolina?
Yes.
Big Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was my guest a couple years ago, Big Mike.
Yes.
Big Mike, that's your stepbrother or brother?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's the man right there. Where's Big Mike at now?
He's he was at ECU. He took some time out for personal issues. No football right now.
Right, no football these days. Wow, amazing back in the day. Where will you be at in college?
I haven't decided. No, kind of keeping my options open, but I know I want to go to college to be a neurosurgeon.
Huh, wow. Now, are you a junior or senior?
Junior.
Man, that's all this time, man. You got a whole nother year to go to. Man, they might try to get you to leave early.
Yeah.
High school early to go to college. Neurosurgeon. Wow, amazing. I'd stick with that because that's the science of doing that study is going to be tougher in itself.
Right.
Man, you'll learn a lot just hanging out in the classroom. And that's something for sure. How do you get better and stay challenged and practice every day? How do you stay? You talked about Wednesdays. Challenge day, no matter what, so that gets it going.
Like I say, my teammates, relying on my teammates, taking reps in practice, going against each other, being physical, working on techniques. So I think that's the biggest thing to get better each and every week.
Is there a player on defense or a player on offense that challenges you at Dudley? A guy stands out, man, I love to go against this guy. He just makes me a better player in practice. Anybody like that at Dudley right now?
Definitely got to say DJ Parker, Jerron Blackwell, Sophion Amaru, all those guys.
Yeah, Sophion sometimes does not get the credit he deserves. He is a very good player for you guys.
Yes, he is.
Those other guys you mentioned too, Blackwell and DJ Parker, also outstanding young men and good players. So you're the cream of the crop right now, though. You and Latrell Wilson, we had you guys here this year in this Football in Focus show. Neurosurgeon, just telling this guy's going to make something out of himself. Kordell Bartley, they didn't name you after Kordell Walker from Walker, Texas, did they?
Nah.
Kordell, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Super job. Good luck against Rockingham County tomorrow night. We'll see you again in the future. Only a junior at Dudley and looking to go for a state championship this year and next year, too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. And Football in Focus, we'll be back in next week. We'll be with